The lead in world news, getting closer to the doorsteps of Baghdad. Militants with a terrorist militia group, the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, known as ISIS, they're now fighting for control of the city of Baghdad, less than 40 miles from Baghdad. You know how close Fort Worth is to Dallas? That's roughly how close these murderous extremists are to the capital of Iraq. Our own Anderson Cooper, host of AC 360, joins us now live from Baghdad. Anderson, we know that security has been beefed up around the U.S. Embassy there. What other preparations are you seeing? Is there a sense of fear over these approaching militants?
There's certainly a lot of concern, certainly a lot of uncertainty. I was driving around the city earlier today, and I mean, there is security everywhere in this city. As you know, you've been here plenty of times. There's security here always, but I've never seen it like this. I mean, every block or so, there are military, there are police on the streets, there are checkpoints, they're pulling over vehicles, asking young men to get out of vehicles, looking at checking papers. We had our papers checked multiple times just driving several blocks in the city. So there's a real sense of concern about what is happening, as you said, less than 40 miles from the gates of Baghdad.
Anderson, Iraqi security forces outnumber ISIS fighters 100 to 1. How is ISIS beating them?
Yeah, I mean, that's the million-dollar question. You know, I talked to Dexter Filkins, who was on your show the other day as well. He said he believed it was a question of morale among Iraqi forces. There's also a real question of leadership. Just today on Iraqi television, Nouri al-Maliki has said that he's fired 4 top military commanders because they deserted their posts. There's a lot of concern about the quality of some of the leadership in the Iraqi military, how they got their positions, and their abilities on the battlefield. And as you know, when that filters down, when troops don't have confidence in their leadership, they don't have confidence on the battlefield. A lot of these ISIS fighters are hardened. They've been fighting for years now in Syria. They're trained. And they've come back here, and also in a lot of these areas, it's Sunni-dominated areas in Mosul and elsewhere. It's not just ISIS fighters. There are other Sunni groups involved here, and they're able to use the local population, have the support of the local population at this point in ways that the Shia government fighters don't.
And Anderson, tell us about the violence in Baghdad today. Was this at all related to this crisis with ISIS?
Yeah, I mean, six bombs went off in Baghdad today. 5 of them were roadside bombs. 1 a car bomb in Sadr City. Obviously, a huge concern. I mean, that's one of the stunning things, Jake, with all the security layers here in the city, all these checkpoints. The fact that 6 bombs were able to go off today, a dozen people at least, according to Iraqi police, were killed. Dozens of others were injured. It's just a sign of how tense things here are, and that it's not just a question of militia fighters on the outskirts of Baghdad, but it's people, terrorists, organized groups who are already in the capital and able to carry out actions.